Do you know who the top paid player in the NFL is? How about the top 10 or the top 15? As of right now, the top highest paid players in the NFL, the top 15 are all quarterbacks. So I step back and I ask myself, if quarterbacks are the highest paid players in their field, how can I become the highest paid player in mine and you and yours? What I found is that the successful traits of a quarterback are just as true in business people as they are on the field. I found there's 3 steps that if you apply to your hustle as a realtor will make you the highest paid player in your field. Step 1, you have to have a resolve to win. When the quarterback steps on the field, the team follows their lead. If the quarterback is indifferent, they're going to lose. If the quarterback thinks that they're going to lose, they're going to lose. So first and foremost, if you want to be the highest paid player in your field, you have got to have a resolve to win. There's not an in-between. There's winners and there's losers. What's sad is that losers oftentimes ignorantly lose. They wake up in the morning and they have their cup of coffee. They get a nice cream cheese bagel and then they go to work and make a couple calls. By the time they go to lunch, you, Mr. Hustler Realtor, have already made the same 3 calls and you've got the deal. They come back to the office after lunch and don't know it, but they just lost. No one can make you want to win. You have to have that desire from within. Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, Ray Kroc, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, Will Smith, Tiger Woods, all these people who've become successful have had a resolve to win, but what sets them apart is they know why they want to win. Napoleon Hill was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie to spend 25 years of his life studying the most successful people of all times. What he found across the board was that the people who achieved the pinnacle of success all had a resolve to win. I've never met or read of a successful person who was resolved to win simply for the sake of winning. Simon Sinek has become famous for hammering this point. You have to start with why. If you have a clear sense of why you want to win, then write it down. Write it down in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to bed. It's this clear sense of why you want to win that will make you the most successful and highest paid player in your field. Step 1, have a resolve to win. Step 2, you got to build yourself a winning team. You can be the best quarterback, but if you don't have the right people to catch or block or run for you, you're still gonna lose. This is your client. You have worked your butt off to get this client. You went to countless parties where you knew nobody. You made 100 cold calls just to get this client. The reality is that whether you like it or not, you're the quarterback. It's your responsibility to get your client into the end zone, to get them to buy or to sell that house. You don't have money to hire rock stars? Awesome. With a little work, you can create a winning team that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I love the story of Henry Ford. Henry Ford was being drilled by people who were questioning his education. He stood there and said, "Why do I need to know all this stuff? At any moment, I can push any one of the buttons on my desk, and the foremost expert in that area will pick up on the other line and I'll ask them the question." If you want to be the highest paid player in your field, you have got to build and draft your winning team. Who's your most important player to draft? Your most important player to draft is your loan officer. Why? Because they have the ability to either make or to break the closing of that house. Are they fast? Are they approachable? If they make a mistake, are they quick to get back and correct that mistake? But I think the most important thing you as a realtor need to look for in a loan officer is, do they focus on you or do they focus on themselves? My favorite football team growing up was the Eagles. I lived right outside of Washington, D.C. The Redskins were no good, so I picked the Eagles. Terrell Owens was an incredible wide receiver, maybe one of the best wide receivers of all times. When he made a touchdown, he would do the craziest dances, but every time he dropped a pass, it was always on Donovan McNabb. The two butted heads the entire time they played together, and it led to their ruin. So is your loan officer focused on you and making a big deal out of you, or are they focused on making a big deal out of himself? Now, there's a caveat for this as well, because if you, Mr. Realtor, take and give your client maybe 3 names they can pick from, a good loan officer might pick that ball up and say, okay, I'm not gonna let you just go anywhere. I wanna make sure that you have a positive experience with this home buying process. So they might quarterback the deal for you. But what I want you to do is that realtor, that person striving to be the highest paid player in your field, you are that quarterback. You are the one who controls the play from start to finish. The title company. Why do you need to have a good title company? Well, more than just a title company, you need to have an incredible title closer. Why? Because they're the person who takes this precious client you worked with and helps them cross the finish line into the end zone. That title closer better smell, look, and dress incredible. They better be celebratory of your client, and they better represent you well at closing, because if they don't, they're the last impression that your client has before they get into the end zone, before they either sell or they buy that house. So number 2, you need to have that title closer. Number 3, you need to have a good inspector. That home inspector is putting their stamp of approval on that product that you're selling to your client. The 4th person you need to refer is a homeowner's insurance agent. Now, why a homeowner's insurance agent? Isn't that the job of the loan officer? Yeah, absolutely. The loan officer can take care of it for you, but let's put it into football talk for a second. Let's say you as the realtor make that lateral pass to the mortgage officer. Now the loan officer is going to take that and he's going to throw it downfield to the homeowner's agent for a 10-yard first down. When they play back the highlight reel, who are they going to remember? The person who made that lateral pass or the person who made the pass downfield? You better believe it, the person who made the pass downfield. So what I want you to do as that realtor, as that quarterback who's positioning yourself as the highest paid player in your field, refer that homeowner's agent. Not only this, a person only buys a house about on average every 7 years. For homeowner insurance, this might be the only long-term referral that you make to your client. So how do you make a good referral? Well, in the same way as you would for a loan officer, you want that homeowner's insurance agent to celebrate and be excited, to be fast and professional throughout the entire process, to celebrate you as the quarterback, the one who is making the play happen. So step 2 in being the highest paid player in your field, draft a winning team. Step 3, control the play you've designed. Have you ever seen a quarterback who wins if they hold onto the ball and run every play? Well, how about a quarterback who puts the ball down on the field and says, hey, in this incredibly emotional time, why don't you fend for yourself? If you need anything, I'll be here to help. You know, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But the reality is that most realtors do just that. They make the sale and then they say, hey, I'm here if you need anything during this process. You have to have a resolve to win. You have to build a winning team, but you're not going to score unless you make the pass. There's a reason quarterbacks have a playbook. They don't improv on the field and change up the formation every time they get on. It's because they've studied and they've practiced these plays. So when they get on the field, they can control the play that they've designed. Now, Ray Kroc was the master of controlling the playbook. He perfected the McDonald's brothers' secrets, the McDonald's brothers' processes, to the extent that you can go to Hong Kong and have the same double cheeseburger as you would in New York City or Dubai. Incredible. You need to create a process that ensures that your client will have the same luxurious experience every time they do business with you. So I guess the question is, do you have a playbook? Do you have something that you've studied and practiced? If not, then maybe it's time to create a step-by-step sales process that gets your client from start to touchdown. Then, once you have a refined playbook, you can put that thing into practice, and it will work for you if you control it every single step of the way. Then, once you have a refined playbook that you've practiced and you've studied, then it's time to get on the field and start playing. Once you take that snap and get that client, then you can control the play that you've designed from start to finish, that you've designed with the intent of making that process of getting in the end zone as easy and seamless and as carefree as possible. For those of us who want to leave a legacy of success, I believe there's a timeless X factor. In his book, Good to Great, Jim Collins talks about level 5 leaders. People who, when they had successes, always looked out the window. And when they had things that went wrong, they always looked in the mirror at themselves. I believe that if you want to leave a legacy of success, if you want to live a lifetime of being the highest paid player in your field, this positions you as the humble quarterback who controlled the process from start to finish. And you will have the happiest, most grateful clients time and time again, guaranteed. And that's how you leave a legacy of being the highest paid player in your field.